Right, saying I'm live.
Good. You're alive.
I'm alive, kicking. It's saying it's streaming.
Always a good start, isn't
No,
it?
it's saying it's going. We've just got to check it is now.
Yeah, you're live, so.
Hey, that's always good.
Okie dokie. Right, we're ready to rock and roll.
Lovely. I'm just going to move some screens around. Fabulous. So, hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
Hello. Give it a moment just for people to tune in. I think we're not quite 7. Oh, we've just turned 7 o'clock. Okay, then. So, shall we start with some introductions?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Shall I go first then?
Go on then. Sarah,
I'll go first. So I'm Sarah from Barkshire Dog Training. So it's lovely to be back with Claire to do a live with Sam. And I'm super chilled today because I've actually been doing my own pampering today. So no massage treatments personally, but I'm looking forward to hearing about dog massage and how that can help our dogs.
Lovely. Thank you. And for those of you, I think most of you know me, Clare. I'm from Insight Hounds, based in the Midlands. I regularly do Facebook Lives with Sarah. I specialise in sight hounds, in particular ex-racing greyhounds. And today our guest is the lovely Sam from Thinking and Feeling Canine Massage. So Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Sam. I run Thinking and Feeling Canine Massage across Warwickshire and Stratford predominantly. I am a member of the Canine Massage Guild and also a tutor on the programme for teaching new therapists to come through the Canine Massage Therapy Centre. So lots there. And I also run workshops for members of the public, people to learn how to massage their dogs, how to use massage at home for their dogs and a bit more about them. So lots of different parts. That's me.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much. So I was thinking today, because Sarah so lovely mentioned her spa, we might kick off with your pet hate, that people go, oh, canine massage, what you do is you just do spa days for dogs all the time, don't you? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a pet hate. Yeah. So well, there's nothing wrong with spa. I love a spa and a massage, which is lovely. But I trained for 2 years with anatomy and physiology, in conditions, understanding the dogs, using different techniques on the dogs. So Swedish massage, which is your typical kind of spa massage, but I can also do sports, deep tissue, myofascial release, manual lymphatic drainage. So there's all sorts of different parts. There's so much more to it than the relaxation, although the relaxation is important. What I will do is rehabilitate injuries, work on chronic pain management for dogs that have orthopedic conditions like arthritis. So that there's so much more that can be done with massage. That's why it's a little bit of a pet hate. Nothing wrong with a relaxing spa massage, but there's so much more to massage that can be done.
That's great, thank you. Really interesting. So I've experienced it with a dog with an injury, and also a preventative sort of treatment or monitoring a dog that might end up, it's got some tightness and we want to get ahead of it, having had some dogs with injuries. And I've experienced both of those, but it's so much more complex, isn't there? There's so much to it.
Yeah, there is, and there's so much benefit the dogs can get from it. All sorts of different dogs can benefit. You've got your older dogs you might think of with arthritis and the tension that they've accrued throughout their lives, and those micro injuries that just kind of can gather up, and we can make such a difference. But also dogs that have been injured, as you say, that have got injuries, either fairly new injuries, so sporting dogs, or the older injuries, the greyhounds, for example, they tend to carry that injury, or something major's happened that's taken them out of racing, and just being able to make sure, not only helping that injury, but to make sure it doesn't affect the rest of the body. Because I know I've certainly found when you when you injure one part, you start to overcompensate, and you can feel it.
Definitely.
Exactly. You injure your ankle and it ends up your hip hurts and your shoulders hurt and your back hurts, and it's stopping all of that. So we might not be able to, I can't cure arthritis. I can't take the arthritis. I can't take the bony changes away. But what I can do is stop that impacting on the soft tissue throughout the rest of the body, so we can be part of that pain management for those dogs as well. As well as you say, Claire, preventative treatments, just keeping you don't have to be limping and injured, do you, to come out of a massage going, oh, I feel so much better.
I need to ask Sarah.
Guilty as charged.
Oh, lovely, that's great. Thanks, Sam. That's really interesting. So, if somebody's not sure if massage, you've covered a sort of the broad spectrum of things that massage can help with. How could people identify that massage could be beneficial to their dog, or is there just too many things to list in a Facebook Live?
Well, apart from, obviously we can go into all sorts of detail, but you can have a maintenance and people benefit. But what really, if you're looking about identifying when your dog has an injury or when there is likely to be soft tissue pain, changes in the dog's behaviour can be really important to look for. If your dog suddenly appears grumpy or suddenly stiff getting up or old looking, or, when you think, and it's checking in on yourself, because we're with them all the time, you don't necessarily see it. And, we're all guilty of this, to go, do you know what, actually, I hadn't noticed that they weren't jumping on the sofa anymore, or oh yeah, they used to run around and play more, we just don't notice because they're gradual. So it's kind of checking in on those sorts of stuff and thinking of pain as a possibility when you have behavioral change, because dogs don't set out to be awkward, or usually to be awkward or difficult. There's a reason behind why they're doing what they're doing, and one of those reasons could be because it's uncomfortable, because they're in pain. It's just keeping an eye out for those changes, really, to see what could be there. But it's seeing changes and seeing where that comes from.
I think one of the things, Sam, that I notice, with my boy, because for those that have met him, he has got a Labrador body with West Highland Terrier legs. So that's little legs with a big body to carry around, and bless him, his body is willing, but the mind is not. Oh no, so the mind is willing, but the body's not. But I notice sometimes when we come back from a long walk, he might lick. So licking, I think, is one of the things that we also need to be looking at, isn't it? Because licking can be, it's quite nurturing dogs, but it's often can be, we just think they might be cleaning themselves, but actually it could be a sign that they're actually trying to soothe themselves where they might have pain.
It can be.
It all comes back really to that body language and watching your dog and learning your dog in a neutral state, so you can learn when there are changes in behaviour and do something about that. And dogs are often so stoic, aren't they, in their behaviour, that it's looking, sometimes those small things are where the clues really lie for those changes.
Yeah, they can be.
Definitely.
Yeah, unless you have greyhounds, in which they can be extremely dramatic, can't they?
Oh, true. They're kind of extreme, aren't they? They're either stoic or the greyhound scream of death, and I can't walk, and then you rub it and go, is that okay? And then they're like, yep, you fixed it, thank you. Doesn't feel like a hero. Definitely. And Sam, you will know this all too well, having greyhounds yourself, won't you?
Absolutely, yes. Mine are as dramatic as others are. Sirius particularly, he will scream first and then work out if he's all right afterwards. But it's that balance, isn't it, between that instant panic that brings on the scream to actually, a lot of them are very stoic, and they've got long, kind of huge injuries from what they've been through, and they're carrying a lot of discomfort, and they're just used to it. It's become normal for them, but we can help with that.
Definitely. So if people are watching and they're thinking, is there anything I can do to make a difference for my dog, or ways you can help your dog, or prevent some of these injuries, or things to look out for, have you got any top tips for people, Sam?
I mean, there's lots of tips. The one biggest thing that you could do that would make a difference to your dog long term is to cover up slippery floors. So laminate floors, slippy tiles, wooden floors, is to put down rugs, put down runners where the dogs go. That would be the one thing that you could do that would make a difference to your dog over time. Because the reason for that is that the dog's feet are very different to ours. So we walk flat, don't we? We've got a flat foot, and we've got all that surface area to balance on, and we can roll over our feet. Whereas the dog's anatomy, they're up on their toes. So it's the equivalent of us standing on our toes. Now consider doing that all the time, like on ice. And you've got that, you've taken away their ability to grip. The dogs need to be able to grip with their toes. They run by sinking their toes in and pushing the ground away rather than rolling over and powering like the humans do. So they can't do that on the slippery floors. So when they've got no purchase, they're constantly having to tense up the whole of their bodies. They're having to bring that tension through their toes and all of their legs to be able to balance as they're going through. So you've got that chronic effect running up through the limbs and through the body. And you've also got the fact of slipping. So it's very easy for the legs to come out, but easy for them to slip across. And then you get the tear injuries in the muscles of the pectorals and also the adductors in the hind limbs. And that they can't rest that because they're still walking on that ice. So they're still having to contract it. So you can get a lot of pain and discomfort coming through that because of those slip injuries, because of the constant balance. And greyhounds are particularly look very precarious on these floors, but all dogs, you see sometimes they're sliding around where they're running. It's just so dangerous for them. It's like us living on ice all of the time. You're going to get so much through your body. So the one thing I would say, and the one thing we end up talking about all the time to people and recommending, is put down runners, put down rugs. And I know they don't look as nice, but they make such a difference to the dogs. That'd be my tip. That'd be my one thing.
Wow, that's interesting. We've always tried to have non-slippy floors, but it wasn't till Oscar had his spinal issue and got that weakness in his back end that we just went runners everywhere, and the difference it made to him was unbelievable.
Yeah, it does make such a difference. And to any dog, either if you're talking about your dog might be fine, it's preventing problems long term, it's preventing those injuries. But if your dog has arthritic changes or changes in their back or struggles for another reason, it's huge, it's massive for them. It can really make them so much more comfortable. It can make such a difference, such a change.
That's so interesting. So interesting. Thank you. Wow, there we go. Learned something.
Well, that's the purpose of the lives, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. But having it explained like that's really, really helpful. Thank you, Sam. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you've got that kind of floor, once you see it, you can't unsee them slipping. It is what people tend to say. Once it's pointed out, they can't unsee it. So that it makes a difference. But it becomes so common, I think.
Oh, thank you. Very interesting. Very useful. Okay, so if we look at some of the practical elements of massage, if you're going out to massage people or things they can do, I suppose one of the first things to look at is handling. Sarah, it's over to our area of expertise.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you do, like I do in classes and with clients, depending on, the age of the dog and obviously the situation. Handling is really important. For everything. Putting a harness on, going to a vet, massage. Having people approach their dog. Being able to, so the dog's got confidence around being handled is absolutely critical for to help the dog feel comfortable when in those situations. So just naming body parts can be really a simple way of actually helping people to for their dog to actually be comfortable. So touch their shoulder and say shoulder, you know, and then, but I never start with the head, Claire. I don't know about you, but I always say start with the main body first and build up on those naming parts, you know, moving down the back and paws. Obviously paws are fundamental in the weather we've got at the moment with the mud and joy that we've got going on. So that's a given that every dog owner needs to have a paw in order to clean it. But and then I would, once you know that the dog is comfortable with certain body parts being handled, I then move on to other areas of their head to make sure that they feel comfortable with it. I mean, that's my advice and guidance that I give to my clients.
Yeah, we do something very similar in class, and the inspection is saying a body part before we touch it, and that sort of thing to get the dogs used to us handling there. Another thing that I'm quite passionate about, I talk a lot about with my class and with everybody I work with, really, is about not going up to a dog when they're on the bed to do handling. So having a separate bed in a separate area to actually handle the dog. So we, especially with the greyhounds, so many of them sleep with their eyes open, and sleep startle can be a really big thing, especially if you think of an ex-racing greyhound. They've been in a kennel environment where somebody approaching them, there's normally lights turned on, there's different noises, they've got so much warning of somebody coming up to them, that a greyhound sleeping on the bed and then just going in and handling them. That's when we've ended up with so many awkward, awful situations because people have done that. So, but Sam, when we were talking earlier, and I know when you treated Izzy, we put a specialist bed out, a massage bed for her.
Yeah, it can really help if you kind of have as you say, a massage bed. It doesn't even need to be a whole bed, just a massage blanket. You know, particular something that says to them, we're doing something different now, and so that can help when you've got, if I'm coming around to see them, you can lay it out, they know what's coming. If you've done some massage yourself with the dog, so you're just you're changing the context for them, and you're setting it and saying, this isn't sleeping now, this is our together time, and it should be a nice time together. It should be that sort of getting to know each other, spending a bit of special time. Just, you know, and that blanket can say, come over here, we're doing something nice.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we do it. It's really important. We do it in class. We have, if people are sitting around the edge and the dog's bed is around the edge of the hall, that's where they're left alone. No dog's going to go on the bed. They can go on there and chill and relax. But if we bring the beds into the middle of the hall, it means we're going to work on like a downstay or something along those lines. It's in a different position depending on what we're working with, and having that context is so important for the dogs.
Yeah, they pick up on it a lot. Sorry, Claire.
No, I was just going to say, so practically, there was a few things where you worked with Izzy which I found absolutely fascinating, which I'd love for you to share with people about actually handling and touching Izzy if we are doing some practice, because you're considering massage in the future with one of the canine massage with yourself, or a canine massage. Are you called therapists? What's the right word? Therapist. Yep. Or if you want to do a bit of massage yourself with your dog, one of the ways to get them used to that and starting putting things in place with the handling there.
Yeah, so the things to get them used to that would help when they come to have a massage, one of them is having somebody behind them, because normally when we do stuff with our own dogs, we tend to be face to face a lot of the time, or even you might stand beside them and you're both facing the same way. You don't tend to be often behind them. So even if they're lying down, we'll often be by their head or by their feet. So actually just getting used to going the other side, so you're alongside their spine or their back, and their legs are pointing away from you. That can help, because that's where your massage therapist is going to want to work, because that's the safest place for us to be, and it's also where we can get the best access into the muscles. Getting them used to that can be helpful, just so it's not really weird for them, because otherwise they can be trying to turn around to look at you all the time, because that's what you do with humans. And the other thing that can be really useful is getting them used to stroking their fur the other way. So a massage therapist will work against the fur a lot of the time, and the reason for that is we're not because we want to go against the fur, but because we're going towards the heart, and the heart is the same as on the human, so between the front legs on the rib cage. So you've got the heart there. So most of the fur is laying the other way. So just getting them used to stroking it up the wrong way can be really helpful. And that can be, it'll tell you whether you've got any particular areas they're really twitchy over or uncomfortable for. That can be a sign that they've got myofascial pain going on, and the massage they would benefit from. And just stroking them up the wrong way can be really useful, just to get them used to it. Otherwise, the first time they feel that will be in a massage.
Cool. Yeah, really good.
I think one thing that you taught me, and Sarah, I think you do this with some of your class, was you were saying to sort of put your hands on Izzy. If anybody doesn't know my greyhound Izzy, she's quite an energetic greyhound, shall we say. She's quite high energy, quite fizzy character, and I can't help sometimes when I stroke her or touch her or pet her, it's always quite a fast motion, and I really have to work on slowing that down. And when you're actually treating Izzy, you were like, Claire, just try and put your hand on her and not move your hand. And it felt like such an alien concept to do that, but it was amazing the difference it made to her. I think it was your magic hands and the treatment you were doing. She was like a different dog.
It's all of it together. It's all of it together.
But that just popping your hands on and not moving, it was amazing how calming it was for us both, to be honest. So it made such a difference. Yeah,
it does. It makes a huge difference, and that's really common as owners. We tend to fuss them, we're stroking them, and we're moving about. We tend to have that busy, and then if we're a bit worried and a bit stressed, and massage is new, and are they going to behave, and what's going to happen? It comes out in that we stroke them faster and we faff about more, and it's just what we do without thinking about it. But actually taking that time and saying, and that's part of it, to say just put your hand on. Just get used to just putting your hand on and just breathing, because they're going to pick up on you, and thinking about your breath and slowing your breath down. Laying a still hand, a passive hand on the dog, and breathing can be really, really calming for both of you, and stop you getting into this spiral where otherwise you just escalate each other, and one gets anxious so the other does, and you just go up and up and up. And actually you can go, right, okay, I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to put my hands still. And it also, from a massage point of view, whilst they're being massaged, there's also the thinking about the nervous system, and I want them to focus on what I am doing and to think about and process what I'm doing. I don't want that overridden by feelings of kind of that busyness and everything else. So think about if you're on a table having a massage and somebody's giving a nice massage, do you want someone there doing this to your head? It's going to be irritating. It'd be like, get off my head. I'm concentrating. Whereas, if you're a bit worried and you just having a still hand would be fine, but you don't want that mixed input to the nervous system. It prevents the massage having the same effect and stimulating the nervous system in the right way.
Fascinating. It's really good. And I think, Sarah, you do some of that with your clients, don't you, and customers?
Yeah, it just I think calmness, I think it's good therapy. It's a reciprocal therapy. If we've all got busy lives, and we can, as Claire says, you've got a busy dog, and actually if we can bring calmness from either side, actually, I think it can really help us. So collar to tail, and just stopping and getting in tune with the dog's breathing actually can be therapy for us on a bad day, or if we just need to take a moment. I've seen it work really well with my two, for sure, because they definitely have their moments.
It's just a reset, isn't it? And everyone can just go, okay, we'll just take a moment, right? And you do it yourself. Go, okay, just stop, take a moment, take a breath. Now we're ready to continue, and it's doing it with the dog. And you see, when people come on the workshops, they do. It's a nice day for the owner as well. It is a giving therapy. It is a nice time for the owner and the dog to share together. We don't have to be busy all of the time. We can just take this time to actually just enjoy being together, enjoy each other's company.
Definitely. Oh, speaking of workshops, lovely segue in there, Sam. Workshops. For anybody interested, we're going to be running a workshop with Sam. We're going to have a greyhound only class. I'm sorry for those of you that haven't got greyhounds, but if there's lots of you that haven't, get in touch with them. We can work something out in the future. But there's going to be a greyhound only workshop with Sam coming up on the 18th of November. 2023, based at Stoke Village Hall, where I train. And if you're interested in that, please get in touch with me, as we're starting to sort out the numbers for that. So very excited about that. Very excited, and having experienced it with Louis before, with Paul, who used to massage Louis a long time ago, and seeing your effect with Izzy. I'm very, very excited about that, and sharing it with the classes and on the workshop day. That'll be great.
Yeah, it should be good. So we're doing that mini workshop there, and then that leads into, I do full day workshops as well, teaching people how to massage. They aren't greyhound only, any dog can come to those. So teaching people how to do a 40-minute Swedish massage with their dog, or some pre and post event. So if you've got a more active dog, if you've got a sporting dog, how to warm up and cool down your dog as well. It's options.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Lovely.
and I've got some contacts, and hopefully we'll be able to, organise something similar, or we've got some contacts. So should people be interested around my area as well, just drop us a note, and I'll be able to recommend people.
Yes, thank you very much. So, has anyone got anything? I think I've hit all the key points that I was hoping to achieve. I don't think we've got any questions that have come in. I'm just going to refresh the page just to double check that. I don't think we've got any questions. If anybody watches this back and they do have any questions, then please feel free to get in touch with Sam or myself or Sarah, and we'll be able to help you. But some really interesting points in that, Sam. There's some really practical things that people can be doing, and some really good advice about the ice and the slippy floor. So thank you so much for your time and for talking to us today. It's been fascinating.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.